Most people spend over 11 hours a day sitting down. And according to research published in the American Journal of Epidemiology, that sedentary behavior is linked to a 34% increase in all-cause mortality. But here is the part that almost nobody talks about. It is not just how long you sit. It is how you sit. Your posture, in this very moment, is silently shaping your health in ways that go far beyond a sore back. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover exactly how posture affects your breathing, your hormones, your mood, your digestion, and even your cognitive performance. We will walk through the science, the history, the real-world data, and the practical changes that can genuinely shift how you feel every single day. And stay with us until the deep dive section, because there is one connection between posture and brain chemistry that most doctors simply do not bring up in routine checkups. It is the kind of thing that makes you rethink everything. To understand why posture matters so deeply, we need to go back to the beginning. Human beings evolved to move. For the vast majority of human history, our ancestors were hunters, gatherers, farmers, and craftspeople. They squatted, climbed, carried, and walked an average of 8 to 12 miles per day. The spine was designed around constant, varied movement. The deep stabilizing muscles of the core, the postural muscles along the back, the hip flexors, all of these were in continuous use throughout the day. Then came the Industrial Revolution, followed by the Office Revolution, and then the Digital Revolution. Within the span of roughly 200 years, human beings went from spending most of their day on their feet and in motion to spending most of their day in a chair staring at a screen. The spine never received the memo. It is still the same structure it was 50,000 years ago, built for motion, but now asked to endure hours of static loading in positions it was never designed to hold. Posture science as a formal discipline began gaining serious traction in the mid-20th century. Physical therapists, orthopedic surgeons, and kinesiologists started documenting the downstream effects of poor alignment. But the research has exploded in the last 2 decades, and what scientists are finding goes well beyond the obvious back pain connection. Let us start with the most well-known consequence. Lower back pain is the leading cause of disability worldwide, affecting roughly 540 million people at any given time according to the Global Burden of Disease study. Poor posture, specifically anterior pelvic tilt and forward head position, dramatically increases the compressive load on spinal discs. When your head juts forward just 2 inches from its neutral position, the effective weight on your cervical spine jumps from roughly 12 pounds to nearly 60 pounds. That is the equivalent of carrying a small child on the back of your neck all day. But here is what nobody talks about. The effects of that forward head posture do not stop at your neck. When your cervical spine is chronically compressed and misaligned, it affects the vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve in the body, which runs from the brainstem all the way down through the heart, lungs, and gut. Compression or irritation along this pathway can impair vagal tone, which is essentially the efficiency of your parasympathetic nervous system. And low vagal tone is associated with higher inflammation, poorer heart rate variability, increased anxiety, and impaired digestion. All from the way you hold your head. Speaking of digestion, research from medical gastroenterology has shown that slouched sitting compresses the abdominal cavity and slows gastric motility. People who eat in a slumped position take longer to digest food and experience higher rates of acid reflux compared to those sitting upright. Your gut is a dynamic organ that needs space and movement to do its job. When you collapse your torso, you are literally squeezing it. Now think about how many people eat lunch at their desk, hunched over a keyboard, and then wonder why they feel sluggish and bloated every afternoon. What about breathing? This one is huge. A study published in the journal Biofeedback found that slumped posture reduces lung capacity by as much as 30%. When your chest caves inward and your shoulders round forward, the ribcage cannot fully expand. Your diaphragm cannot drop as far as it needs to on each breath. The result is chronic shallow breathing, which keeps your body in a low-grade state of physiological stress. Shallow breathing elevates cortisol, reduces oxygen delivery to the brain, and impairs focus and decision-making. This is happening silently, right now, in millions of offices and living rooms and classrooms around the world. Here is a number that should stop you cold. A 2017 study from San Francisco State University found that students who walked in a slouched position performed significantly worse on math tasks and reported lower energy and higher depression scores compared to students who walked upright. Posture is not just a physical issue. It is a neurological and psychological one. This brings us to the deep dive. The connection between posture and brain chemistry is where things get genuinely fascinating. In 2010, social psychologist Amy Cuddy and her colleagues at Harvard conducted research on what they called power postures, expansive, upright body positions held for just 2 minutes. Their findings suggested significant changes in testosterone and cortisol levels following these brief posture interventions. While some aspects of that specific study have been debated and refined since then, the broader body of research supporting the posture and hormone relationship remains compelling. Multiple follow-up studies have confirmed that upright, open postures are associated with greater feelings of confidence and lower subjective stress. The body and the brain are in constant two-way communication. Your brain shapes how you hold your body, but your body also shapes how your brain functions. This bidirectional relationship is called embodied cognition, and it is one of the most exciting areas in modern neuroscience. What this means practically is that you are not just performing posture for other people. You are performing it for your own nervous system. When you sit tall, your brain receives different proprioceptive signals than when you slump. Those signals influence neurotransmitter activity, autonomic nervous system balance, and emotional regulation. Your posture is, in a very real sense, a form of self-communication. But here is what nobody talks about regarding the long-term picture. Chronic poor posture does not just create discomfort in the present. It accelerates structural degeneration. Kyphosis, the exaggerated rounding of the upper back, was once considered an inevitable consequence of aging. Research now shows that it is largely a consequence of lifestyle and cumulative postural habits. A study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults with hyperkyphosis had a 2.4 times greater risk of mortality from respiratory and cardiovascular causes than those with normal spinal curvature. So how do you actually fix this? The research points to 4 primary interventions. First, movement frequency matters more than movement duration. Getting up and changing position every 30 to 45 minutes interrupts the static loading on your spine more effectively than one long exercise session at the end of the day. Set a timer if you need to. Your body responds to movement variety, not just total exercise volume. Second, strengthen the posterior chain. The muscles of the upper and lower back, glutes, hamstrings, and deep spinal stabilizers are chronically underused in modern lifestyles. Exercises like rows, deadlifts, hip hinges, and face pulls directly address the muscular imbalances that drive poor posture. You do not need a complicated program. You need consistent attention to these neglected muscle groups. Third, address hip flexor tightness. Tight hip flexors from prolonged sitting tilt the pelvis forward, which cascades all the way up the spine, creating exaggerated lumbar curve, compensatory thoracic rounding, and forward head position. Daily hip flexor stretching and mobility work is not optional maintenance. It is structural correction. Fourth, breathe intentionally. Diaphragmatic breathing exercises, where you expand the belly and lower ribs fully with each inhale, directly retrain your posture from the inside out. The diaphragm is a postural muscle. When it functions well, it stabilizes the entire core and creates the intra-abdominal pressure that supports proper spinal alignment without conscious effort. The real-world implication of all of this is simple but profound. Before you go, if you learned something valuable today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to HealthCore Daily for a brand new video every single day. We will see you in the next one.